Ms. Kuik Shiao Yin.
Last year, the government announced that working dads would finally get 2 weeks of paid compulsory paternity leave, where they used to be entitled only to 1. And the government also legislated for working mothers to go from sharing just 1 out of their 16 weeks of paid maternity leave to sharing up to 4 weeks with their husbands. This is one area where the gender gap is skewed more in favor of women than men, so I am quite glad we're making strides for the rights of men. I hope we can make things more fair for fathers, because that would definitely make things more fair for moms as well. The Centering for Father Chief Executive Peter Kuik has said that today's fathers are a lot more hands-on in raising their children. And there are the beginnings of a cultural shift, and more men actually want to step up to the plate to be more participative caregivers to their kids and also to their elders. Some men are actually even choosing to be full-time caregivers because it comes down to a simple decision between husband and wife about who can drive the car and who can't, or whose parent is the one who needs care, or who has a greater chance at being fast-tracked in their career and who doesn't. So full-time male caregivers are particularly courageous because they know what they are doing runs up against the grain of predominant assumptions about gender roles. Though these men are clear and have no regrets about their choices because they see the impact they're making on their kids and the elders in their care, they still feel hesitant, and some even say they feel ashamed about letting other people know what they do for work. So I find this really troubling because they have nothing to be ashamed about. They're doing really noble work with long intergenerational impact, and it's the same work that women have been doing for years, by the way. So what can we do to further recognize the gift that fathers are to their children? And how can we help to affirm that men are just as powerful, impactful, and necessary a caregiver to their children as women? I hope we can offer a longer quantum of parental leave for parents to share as they wish. And this would help families to make the decisions that are most appropriate for their context. I was going to actually just push for having working mothers share up to 8 weeks of their 16 weeks of paid maternity leave with their husbands. But my fellow NMP Associate Professor Madhav Mohan in the tea room just now, who is a new dad, he said, hey, why not push for more? So, okay, all right, on his behalf, why not 16, right? I think allowing more flexibility of leave to be shared between husband and wife would be really useful for working couples who are in this scenario where the woman has a better paid job and better career advancement prospects than her spouse. If they prefer that she remains in full-time employment while he goes part-time or leave the workforce for a season, then they should be allowed to make that decision, rather than be forced into arrangements that are just dictated by gender. This will help couples feel a lot more free to manage their families and finances as they wish. And this will also have an impact on the overall output contribution and productivity of our labor force. To reduce disruptions to the labor supply, maybe there can be restrictions placed on how this additional leave is to be taken. I think the UK manages that by saying that leave should be taken in weeks rather than days. Similarly, the same amount of adoption leave that is available to moms should be made available to dads. Or alternatively, a longer quantum of gender-neutral adoption leave can be offered for parents to share as they wish. I'll end my cut with a request. At the 2017 COS, SMS Josephine Teo announced that the government was undergoing a 3-year pilot where public sector officers and their spouses would be given an additional 4 weeks of unpaid infant leave per parent. She mentioned that the length of the pilot was necessary for NPTD to test the impact of longer parental leave in a variety of work settings, and that NPTD would be using this experience to get a clearer idea of whether a nationwide rollout was feasible. So I hope the SMS can give an update to the House of any useful insights that have already emerged from the pilot. Thank you.